Missy, I need your help.
Is that okay? Vậy bố cầm mê rồi, đi rồi dính cả lục cắn à.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody thank you guys for your attention. 11th graders in the middle as well, thank you guys for your attention. So I would like to welcome all of the 9th, 10th, and 11th graders to the first annual Global Energy Summit. 9th and 10th graders, you're probably sitting here wondering, what's going on? I don't really know, right? So the 11th graders are discussing energy use across the entire world. Okay, now this is a problem because as we have seen, the temperatures of the world are going up. It's something called climate change, right? And Mr. Paul is going to show us a short video right now so we can understand just a little bit about climate change and why this is so important, what the 11th graders are talking about right now. Okay, so with that. Sure, yeah, I'll be right there.
For 2.5 million years, the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century, the planet's temperature has risen unusually fast, about 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists believe it's human activity that's driving the temperatures up, a process known as global warming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars have burned fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases trap heat near the Earth through a naturally occurring process called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect begins with the sun and the energy it radiates to the Earth. The Earth and the atmosphere absorb some of this energy, while the rest is radiated back into space. Naturally occurring gases in the atmosphere trap some of this energy and reflect it back, warming the Earth. Scientists now believe that the greenhouse effect is being intensified by the extra greenhouse gases that humans have released. Evidence for global warming includes a recent string of very warm years. Scientists report that 1998 was the warmest year in measured history, with 2005 coming in second. Meanwhile, readings taken from ice cores show that the greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane have hit their highest levels in the past 420,000 years. Arctic sea ice is also shrinking. According to NASA studies, the extent of Arctic sea ice has declined about 10% in the last 30 years. As long as industrialized nations consume energy and developing countries increase their fossil fuel consumption, the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will continue to rise. Researchers predict that temperatures will increase about 2 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. What's less certain is what rising temperatures mean for the planet. Some climate models predict subtle changes. Others forecast rising sea levels which could flood coastal areas around the world. Weather patterns could change, making hurricanes more frequent. Severe droughts could become more common in warm areas, and species unable to adapt to the changing conditions would face extinction. Although much remains to be learned about global warming, many organizations advocate cutting greenhouse gas emissions to reduce the impact of global warming. Consumers can help by saving energy around the house, switching to compact fluorescent light bulbs, and driving fewer miles in the car each week. These simple changes may help keep the Earth cooler in the future.
Okay, so this should give you a little bit of an idea about what is global warming, right? And why the temperatures of our planet are getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. The temperatures are going up. Yeah. Now today we have multiple students who are representing different countries. Yeah. And as we know, some countries use a lot of energy and some countries use a little energy. So they're going to talk today and debate, right? Discuss how can all the countries agree with each other about how to stop global warming, right? How to help our planet stop getting hotter. Okay. So briefly, 9th and 10th graders, what you're going to do is you're going to write the student's name. So the student's name, for example, Xiaoqing, can you raise your hand just so everyone can see who you are?
What?
Can you raise your hand just so everyone can see? Okay, so that is Xiaoqing, right? So you're going to write Xiaoqing, right? And you're going to write how many times did Xiaoqing speak. So for example, if Xiaoqing spoke one time, I'm going to go quote one time, right? Quote 2 times, 3 times, right? How many times does he speak? And at the end of the day, you guys are going to give Xiaoqing, hold on a second. You're going to give Xiaoqing a grade, a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Just for 5.
Okay, so a lot of you guys do not know the names. You guys do not know the names of these students. Mr. Paul is going to put all the names up here, and I'm going to put a little arrow next to which student is speaking every time they're speaking. So I'll be like, Xiaoqing, whoever it is, right? Whoever, right? So I'm going to move it around so you guys can see who is speaking.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah, sounds good.
you guys all ready?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, outside circle. Does everyone understand your job? So Daniela, you understand your job? You understand your job? Kayleen, you understand your job? Okay, Tina, you understand your job? No? Okay. So yes. Yep. Okay. Question?
Khói văn điểm từ giờ hôm qua.肥妹啊，叫波哥開翻電咧，好啱啊！頭先要光啲啊嘛，而家暗啲啊嘛。應該暗啲咯。即係咩？
Okay.
我知道吗？我们是阿婉来中强的哦，我的主攻来了，两个中强人啊，不是反贼，然后一个三反贼，我让I bring my bring here.
So, class K, it's time to start. So, let me get your attention. Okay. So, hopefully you understand your job? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so outer circle, everyone understands your job. Inner circle, you guys are ready? Today we're going to have starting the conversation. So, Beza and Josue, can you stop your conversation, please? Yeah. Beza and Josue, just listen to the group in the middle, please. Okay, you guys have been doing a really good job so far. Let's start today the Global Energy Summit with El Salvador. Paula.
The country shall reduce their carbon emission. China shall using nuclear to reduce their carbon emissions. They reduce 1 billion carbon emissions by replace coal and other fossil fuels. The other country, I think, is Middle East. Yeah, Middle East shall using cleaner fossil fuels to reduce their CO2.
I disagree with you because the carbon dioxide emission in China per capita is really low.
So I agree with Paula because the total carbon dioxide emission that China has is the first one. And then what you mean is like the per capita is low, so it means like the government use carbon emission a lot. It's not every people. It means like the government use more.
A group of people. Little people use.
I disagree with you because the data, the information I have, is show out the United States, even though the total and the per capita, they were both is very high.
So this means like we have a lot.
This means you have to do
Let me finish first, okay? So this means like our country, like United States, like is a developed country. So it means it has technology. So that's why the people like need to run their factory and run the business. So we have a higher economy. So that's why we have a higher per capita.
Yeah, that's why China did. And China has a really big population. That's why they have a big carbon dioxide emission total. So if it is for everyone, like China, they use carbon dioxide. They burn coal in housing. That's why they have a high carbon dioxide emission.
Yeah, so China use 70% of the coal. So I think instead of that, using the renewable energy or nuclear power.
China has been spent a lot of money in building renewable energy supplies. For example, the 3 forests, and there's like 90% more of hydropower they produce.
Yeah, I agree with Yitos because China already built a lot of renewable energy. When they are built, the people need to move and it will affect the people's life. Also, it was like they will take out the money for the education.
Okay, here's my rebut. So you say you use the renewable energy. So according to the poster, it says like China is using China is the largest hydroelectricity country. But in the poster, it says that we only use 6% of the hydroelectricity.
But we already produce a lot of amount in the renewable energy.
The hydropower is renewable.
Yeah, it's part of renewable.
Yeah, but you only use 6%, but you are the largest hydro.
Because
We use all of it that we produce. What do you think?
I think that is not enough.
So you say you are the largest, but why don't you use only 6%? You use more.
I disagree.
No, we already use all that we have.
Okay, that's good.
So you're supposed to be build more.
I disagree with you because China has the biggest population.
But
And
you
if
still
you
need
build
to
more,
more.
the people do not have the place to live, and then they need to move to your United States, South Korea, France, and you have the place to let them live.
China
And
is
then
the
when they move, they will take the airplane will do about the CO2. And it will affect the global warming.
You can swimming.
You can swim in. How can you swim in from China to United States?
That's how you destroy the
I cannot.
population.
Yeah.
But I know you can
What do you
swim.
think? Emma?
I think United States to reduce more carbon dioxide. First, I think reduce carbon dioxide and on how many carbon dioxide that big capitals use. And China has a big population, but their per capitals is low. So I think like United States and Canada and Australia should reduce their carbon dioxide more.
So I have a question for you. So like reduce how much? Like 1 billion or 2 billion or 3 billion? Like how much? We should reduce how much carbon dioxide?
I think United States should reduce 2 million carbon dioxide and Australia also needs to reduce 2 million.
2 billion is too much. The 2 billion will affect the whole United States.
But as you know, United States, they made a lot of the carbon dioxide by the transportation. Like every family, almost every Americans, they also own like 2 cars, or
So what I'm saying is like 2 billion is too much for our US because we already like loan the $60.3 trillion from other countries. So we don't have enough money to pay for 2 billion. Sorry about that.
What do you feel at Sherman?
I think besides United States, Canada also is a country that we should reduce CO2. I know Canada and United States are the really close like a partnership because business partner, and where they Canada export a lot of vegetables to the United States, and then also United States get a lot energy from Canada. And I also know that, like, according to the news, Canada is really right now is focusing on using the renewable energy. They did a good job on that. I think United States should learn something from Canada. They should use their, maybe not use all of them the energy policy, maybe just take some good advantage of this policy to change United energy policy.
But by how much greenhouse gas emissions we need to reduce?
Each country, I think, at least 1 billion.
Yeah, because I agree with you because Canada also uses a lot of renewable energy, such as hydroelectric power, because we have 10,000 dams around the places in Canada. So we're more focused on hydropower instead of focusing on using oils. So we're just using it to produce money. And also, I wanna tell for USA, I wanna say you guys need to reduce your greenhouse emission by 1.5 billion metric tons, because imagine if that's the 1.5 billion greenhouse gases on the air. It's the whole world will be polluted and hot, and then every country that has ice will melt, and then it will produce flood and stuff.
Yeah, like what? Like the energy efficiency or?
I wanted to produce I want to propose that you guys should use less cars instead of cars. You guys should just use bikes.
But I see most of people in US to go to work, and then if they use bike, they might be late.
Yeah, I understand that they need to use cars to go to their work so they will not be late. But if they're near to the company that they're working for, they can just use bike or just walk. That will reduce energy. Mr. Paul, can I use you as an example? Do you use bike, right? Do you get late for work? See, he's an example. He doesn't get late.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Mr. Pan, you ride a bike, right?
Because his
So,
neighbors
you
with the
guys
school.
ride a bike.
I'm saying that
Use the bike.
yeah. I'm
Not a
saying
lot
that
of people use car.
I'm saying the workers who work in their company for for example, they're near the company that they're working for, they could just walk or just use bike instead of breaking cars and then buying gas.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is that everyone use the car to go to work?
Of course.
I
Can
know
you see
a
the
lot
freeway?
of.
It's full every morning. It's
Okay.
traffic.
Okay. I know that. I
Love
moved the 70% of people take the bus and not the car.
But we have more cars produced rather than buses.
So that is not.
It's like 50-50. But what if we increase the amount of gases, like for example, like petroleum, we will increase the price. So people will have no choice but to use bikes, because they will say like buying gas, like filling their cars with gases every day, every week for like maybe let's say $100. They will say like, oh, this will cut our salary, and then we will not. So instead of buying new clothes, they will just spend their money to buy gases. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that. I think that is.
Oh, what do you think?
I agree with you because use bike or use public transportation help to save energy, and we don't have to waste money on that.
Okay, I agree with Roxanne too. Your opinion is right. Like most of people are using a car in the United States, even though like there is near a company. I agree to like reduce like 1 billion carbon dioxide. But however, I think like Canada should like reduce 1 billion carbon dioxide too. By using the forest storage.
Too much.
Carbon storage, carbon capture.
Oh yeah, we're actually planning to use that. Or we're actually using that already.
Yeah.
Friends?
Okay, first, I agree with Gino.
I know you are like using the forest storage, but like in Canada, like a lot of people also cutting down the trees. Like it didn't keep the forest like diversity. So like it's not like the tree like it will be the same because people cut the tree and then they plant the tree again. So the whole forest will be the same tree, and then it's not like diversity.
Do you mean like if we cut the tree, it will change its shape?
Yeah. So what?
It's like we cut trees and then we're changing it.
No, so what I'm saying like to help you guys like to keep the forest like diversity, like leave some original tree there and don't cut down the trees.
But how are we supposed to get heat for like homes because it's too cold in Canada?
I mean I just cut some trees, not all.
Some trees? Like where?
Yeah, I think he means that don't cut too much. Save some.
Just suggestion.
Alright, I think you guys think too far. Talking about which country should reduce the carbon dioxide. And first, in my opinion, I think it's China, because China is have a lot of people, like 13 billion, maybe kind of. And
so we have the birth control.
Alright, but in China, 13 billion people will have a lot of cars to use, and that will make the main energy using is coal in China, right? And that will make a lot of CO2. And also, I have a little bit agree with them because China is still in a developing country. And the renewable energy is starting using, and it will be changed to better. So I think the most country should reduce still is China.
I disagree with you because China has a big population, but they didn't. Like their problem is to change their population. Decrease the population is not the CO2.
Oh, so is that means should we kill some Chinese?
No.
Exactly.
In my mind, like even though China has a policy that is a birth control, but you can like if you have a first children is a boy, you cannot like have second children unless you pay the money. So most of the Chinese, like some Chinese, like pay the money to have the second children. So the birth control just works for some people, not all of them. So you do not like control the birth very well.
I disagree with you because China, I think the per capita the GDP is very low.
So why are you talking about the population?
Yeah, the GDP is very low, so a lot of people cannot pay that enough money for the birth control. Some people, that is very small part. I think it's, even though it's not 1%.
So that's why there are a lot of Chinese immigrants who came to another country.
Yeah, they are rich.
Yeah, they're rich.
So they increase other countries' population, not China's.
And I also disagree Xiaoqing's.
Why is still Asian?
I disagree with Xiaoqing. Because in America, there are lots of people using the cars in America, and the cars could produce many carbon dioxide to affect the air pollution. And as a high school student, they get their own cars. So air pollution in America is.
Okay. I ask a simple question. You said USA use car too, right? And you lived in China before, and you compare the environment with USA. Which one you think is better? Yeah, but we are talking about which country should reduce the carbon output. But China is have hold on.
Oh, Xiaoqing, do you have your evidence?
So what do you? Why are you going to say?
Are you sure the things that you talk is true?
Of course, you live in China before, and you can just compare which place you prefer to live.
I live in village, so the air is so fresh, and the pollution is only in the cities. And China is a big country, and most places are village.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So
That they
it should
have-
reduce the carbon output.
They don't have air pollution in the village.
Yes, I
They in the
disagree with you.
city.
In the city.
But I disagree with you still.
Yeah.
I think the United States should pay for
Kill some
that
Chinese
to
business.
reduce the carbon dioxide. So like at this table, everyone almost have used the iPhone, right? What's it for?
No iPhone.
China.
Nokia.
But have one. It's for China. But the idea is for United States. The United States always send the idea to China. That China, the factory to build the produce, and then it ship back to the United States to sell to the people. And then it costs the transportation, and then the factory produce a lot of CO2. And China, also the other country. So I think that United States reduce 3 billion carbon
3
dioxide.
billion. I already said that 2 billion is too much. Those are 3 billion.
Because
we already loan like 16.3 trillion. Do you know how much is trillion?
Because you have a really big financial support for the poor people. Some people think even they work, they only have the low salary instead of that is lower than taking money from the government. So no one wants to work and just take money from the government. If you change your plan in financial support, it can help your country become rich.
But like more people can go to work, the economy will go up. So like in China, there are lots of people like homeless. There are lots of people are homeless and don't have the work. So that's why like many people don't have a job. That's why the per capita is very low. So our United States like to like let everybody to have a chance to work to like improve a higher increase the economy so that we can like use the money to fix the carbon dioxide emission. So I agree like to fix reduce the carbon emission like 1 billion. But as Zipeng say, the 3 billion is very, very too much.
We have about 5 more minutes.
So meanwhile, I think Australia should reduce the carbon emission because from the data, the graph shows that Australia is using the black coal 53.8%, and the brown coal is 22.5%. It's more than 70% of the coal. So instead, however, the wind power you just using the 1.5, but Australia is near the ocean. I mean hydropower is 4.5, but Australia is near the ocean. So why don't you guys use more like hydropower instead of more coal? Also, Australia, as per the petroleum petroleum and coal 19.22%, and then the petroleum gas is 8.17%. So you as per those bad resource to another country like to use more carbon dioxide.
Yeah, I agree with you in this. Right? Yeah, we are trying to build a renewable energy, wind power, but the wind power is like very expensive, and the people will not like to build the wind at the wind station at the house. Also, yeah, okay. Also, at Kauai, you say, but I searched at the internet. The United States have the first at the vending. He is at the first. So, which means the United States underground have a lot of resources they didn't use.
Okay, I have a question.
And then also you guys go to fight with other countries to get oil for other countries.
Wait,
right?
I have a question want to ask you. Like you build the wind power building, right? You just bring it, building, right?
Yeah.
You just like keep it safe, right? Then you don't need to do something, you get power, right? So how is that expensive?
I need to build it.
That is one thing you need to pay money and then go out. You just get the power in. That is like the free money you get.
Okay, for example, if you go to Garden Gate Beach, they can go to and then you see the wind station over there. What do you think?
Last night.
So I have nothing to say.
Okay, I think
I'm first. Okay, Emma.
I want to let South Korea say something.
Okay, South Korea. What do you think?
Well, you guys just like argue about some big country. Why don't like look at some small country like Nepal, Middle East, El Salvador, even though South Korea?
Okay, so I think South Korea use South Korea use 45% of petroleum and coal. I think instead of that, you should use the nuclear thermal power. So you have a 64.6 thermal power.
We are not talking about which energy we should use. We should talking about which country should
Yes.
we do.
If you have German, do you mean every country should reduce carbon dioxide by 1 period?
Well, just depend on the country. Like China, Australia, that big country, at least 1 billion, at least.
Yeah.
But with small country, maybe, well, if they like really release a lot, if they compare to the big country, they will release less than that country and maybe less than 1 billion.
I think the United States can handle the 3 billion carbon emission reduced. Because, for example, if the students all bike to school, and they will not be late. For example, if Simon bike to school, he will come early instead of taking the bus. The bus is always late. Does everyone know? And if the student doesn't take the bus, and the adult will take the bus to go into work instead of driving their car.
I think most of the students are taking a bus instead of a car, right?
Yeah, so in the morning the bus will be really crowded and will be late. So the student can wake up earlier and take the bike to school and let the chance for the adults to take the bus. So there will be less cars driving.
Okay, unfortunately we are out of time, guys. So we are going to have a few minutes for the outside circle to tell us about what happened. So, So, I know you're excited, inside circle. I'm happy you have Xiaoqing. I'm happy that you have more to say. That's good. You have a lot of good ideas, but we don't have more time to talk about them. So now we're just going to listen. So just now listen to the outside circle is going to report back to us to tell us about what they think happened. So can we hear from Eva? Can you tell us about, did people reference, did they use evidence from citations? I'll come back to you. Just think about that. Okay. Kayleen, you're the comment teller. You were keeping track of how many people talked how many times. What did you find?
Ethan, Aaron, Emma, and Clifford. Roxanne and Sherman, they talk like 5 times. Yes. They talk a lot, miss. Just like 5 times. And Paola, Kim, Emma, Max, they talk like